Let us continue our program now and recognize our other awardees. As I announce each of the winners, you know the instructions. Please hold your applause and refer to the screens for a description of each award, or I give you an alternative. As is space prom tradition, ignore my instructions and applaud wherever you want. All right. Plan B. Tonight's impressive awardees were nominated and selected by their peers and leaders in each of their respective fields of expertise. The NRO Dr. Joseph Charyk Award this year is awarded to the NRO's Director of Geospatial Intelligence, Research and Technology, Mr. Karl Eger. Not only has Mr. Eger been providing me with excellent technical support this evening, but he is recognized for developing and delivering critical components in support of countless intelligence community and Department of Defense programs. His visionary concept for an entire payload built, and I love this, known as Frizzle, culminated with a 2024 launch and an on-orbit demonstration of a novel optics technology. His distinctive accomplishments have revolutionized national security space and ensured delivery of critical warfighting capabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Karl Eger. This year's NOAA David Johnson Award is presented to physical scientists for the Center for Satellite Applications and Research. That's why I didn't drink. Dr. Christopher Slocum. Dr. Slocum is not here, but Dr. Slocum is recognized for his instrumental leadership in accelerating the nation's AI efforts through his management and contributions to the AI-ready tropical cyclone precipitation infrared, microwave, and environmental dataset, referred to as TC Primed. The TC Prime dataset provides much-needed curated AI-ready data that provides forecast guidance for the most challenging of tropical cyclone forecasts. As I mentioned, Dr. Slocum couldn't be here tonight as previously planned, but we will make sure he gets his award. This year, we present the Christa McAuliffe Space Educator Award to Mr. Kevin Simmons. Mr. Simmons, founder and educator for the Aerospace and Innovation Academy in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is recognized for his contributions to aerospace education and workforce development through innovative aerospace programs. As a career space educator, he guided pre-college students in designing and launching numerous spacecraft, including 3 CubeSats, making space exploration more accessible for students. To emphasize real-world problem solving and collaboration, Mr. Simmons created Blue Cube Aerospace and co-created the Small Sat Education Conference, the Aerospace and Innovative Academy, and the podcast, Let's Go to Space, Blue Sky Learning. His efforts have inspired hundreds of students to pursue STEM careers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kevin Simmons. For this year's Norman L. Baker Astronautics Engineer Award, we honor Dr. Soren Mason. Dr. Mason, Chief Engineer of Planetary Science Directorate at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is recognized for his outstanding contributions on multiple planetary exploration missions and for his technical leadership of the Europa Clipper MOSFET Tiger team. Dr. Mason's key contribution to Europa Clipper, NASA's latest mission to the outer solar system, was his leadership of JPL's effort to understand and mitigate the last-minute threat associated with unexpected radiation vulnerability in more than 1,000 mission-critical MOSFET parts. Dr. Mason, commitment to conducting a disciplined risk assessment, establishing workarounds to reduce the vulnerability that was identified less than 6 months before launch, was critical to convincing NASA stakeholders to launch the $5 billion mission in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Soren Madsen. This year, the National Space Club's Press Award goes to the producer of ABC News, Ms. Gina Sunseri. Ms. Sunseri is recognized for her exceptional coverage of the aerospace industry for more than 2 decades, bringing space exploration stories to life for millions worldwide. Ms. Sunseri's extensive body of work includes hundreds of articles and broadcast news segments covering NASA, international partners, and commercial missions. Known for her unbiased reporting, her coverage of space has earned her 3 Emmys, the Murrow, and the Peabody Awards, cementing her reputation as a leading voice in space reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Gina Sunseri. This year's Nelson P. Jackson Aerospace Award winner is the SpaceX team. The team is represented on stage by Ms. Stephanie Benderek, Vice President of Commercial Launch and Crew Sales, who's filling in for Tim Hughes, who did want to be here tonight and wishes he could be, but Stephanie is here. The SpaceX team is being recognized for the first catch of a returning space booster. Starship's 5th test flight lifted off on October 13th, 2024. Following liftoff, the Super Heavy booster returned to the launch site and performed its landing burn, where it was caught mid-air by mechanical arms of the launch and catch. Is she doing it here? Is she doing it here? She's all right, I'm gonna go, Stephanie. Of the launch and catch tower at Starbase in Texas, this catch brings SpaceX one step closer to realizing its goal of rapidly flying a fully reusable launch system. Ladies and gentlemen, the SpaceX team. Tonight, this year's Eagle Man Mission Award goes to Ms. Julie Kramer White, Director of Engineering at NASA's Johnson Space Center. Ms. Kramer White is recognized for her impact on the future of NASA's engineering efforts, essential for NASA to evolve and lead the growing space economy. Ms. Kramer White leads the organization responsible for the design and development of NASA's human spaceflight programs. Over her career, she has led the engineering for the International Space Station, Orion, and commercial crew programs. For each program, she has proactively infused critical skills, engaged cross-center expertise, and applied lessons learned to ensure efficient, risk-balanced, technically sound approaches. Her recent leadership in conducting a flawless Orion mission as part of Artemis I helped to restore public confidence in NASA to lead and execute difficult missions. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julie Kramer White. Tonight, we recognize this year's General Bernard Schriever Award winner, Major William Elder, the Space Force's Director of Operations of the 3rd Test and Evaluation Squadron. Major Elder is recognized for his visionary leadership as he spearheaded the efforts of a 149-member unit conducting orbital warfare test and evaluation. Advancing combat-ready systems, he led the groundbreaking 60 million Victus Nox mission, achieving on-orbit readiness in just 37 hours while orchestrating 150 sorties and 212 test points across 14 organizations in less than 30 days. I'm tired. An achievement praised as a transformative milestone for U.S. space capabilities. No, you're not done. You're not done. As a pioneer of the Space Force's Integrated Test Force, Major Elder streamlined operations, drove innovation, certified 106 test pilots, forged partnerships with 83 organizations, and defined $301 million in infrastructure investments, solidifying U.S. dominance. His efforts embody excellence and service to the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Major William Elder. Oh yes, you're next. Last but not least, our highest honor of the night and the namesake of this dinner, the Goddard Memorial Trophy. We have the opportunity to honor an esteemed individual for their exceptional service to country and space community. This year's Goddard Memorial Trophy winner is General Lester Lyles. You got to hear from me more. General Lyles' distinguished career spans decades of visionary leadership, shaping the future of aerospace and national security. They're not following the script. They're not following the script. Throughout his 35-year career in the U.S. Air Force, General Lyles held pivotal positions, including commander of the Space and Missile Center. Oh yeah. Director of the Ballistic Missile Defense Organization, and Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force. His visionary leadership was crucial to advancing the U.S. military space capabilities, playing an instrumental role in revolutionizing the Air Force's approach to aerospace defense. Following his military service, General Lyles continued to serve as a powerful advocate for national space policy and defense strategy. He has contributed his expertise to numerous advisory boards, including the President's U.S. Space Policy Commission and the Defense Science Board, where he co-chaired key efforts to elevate space, security, and foster innovation. As chair of the NASA Advisory Council, General Lyles was integral to building the agency's long-term vision and strategic direction. His leadership also extended to the National Space Council's Users Advisory Group, where he played a vital role in shaping the future of U.S. national space policy. Beyond his professional achievements and numerous honors, General Lyles has demonstrated a steadfast commitment to advancing aerospace innovation and education. He currently serves as chairman of the board of KBR and as chairman of the board of trustees for University's Space Research Association. His leadership extends to numerous nonprofits, including the National Air and Space Museum. I'm truly honored to present the 2025 Goddard Memorial Trophy to someone whose legacy and profound impact on the future of space exploration has been so incredibly significant. In fact, his extraordinary impact is one reason we sold out this year's dinner. The number of people who purchased tables and tickets to support General Lyles was astounding. Ladies and gentlemen, General Lester Lyles.
Well, Robbie, thank you very much for that very kind introduction and for going through your PT with lifting. This thing is heavy. It really is very, very heavy. I can't believe that I'm here and getting this particular honor. In all honesty, when I first heard about my nomination and heard that I was selected, I was really blown away. I could not believe it. I've been attending these space prom events for many, many years, and it's just really hard to believe that I'm up here. Now, you didn't tell me one thing. You didn't tell me that I have to speak after Soren. They didn't say anything about that part of it. Young man, you're just fantastic, and same with you, Divya. I mean that sincerely. Now, sadly, I was just thinking, I'm going to be 79 next month, and as I thought about that, I said, unlike Robbie, I don't think that I'm going to be able to work for you in the future, but but you can be sure that I'll be sitting in a rocking chair somewhere in an old folks' home, watching the news, waiting to learn about your accomplishments and Divya's accomplishments. My sincere thanks to Robbie, to Megan, to Heather, to the Space Club and Space Foundation, and everybody associated with it. This really is a very, very, very heartening moment for me. And I really have to thank my family and close friends. My family is at table number 77 out there. There they are. Yeah. Yeah. My wife, Mina, my 3 daughters, my son, my grandkids, close family friends. I'm just blessed to have so many people who are literally in my camp, helping me in every step of the way. I'm reminded that the old adage of behind every great man is a woman. I've never believed in that, never ever believed in that. To me, it should be in front of every good man is a woman pulling him along. And judging from the smiles I see out there, it's like you guys know it's true too, aren't you? My wife, Mina, has really been, she's heard me say this many, many times. The family has too. And if you forgive me an aeronautics comment at a space event, if you will, it's a space prom, she really is the wind beneath my wings and for the whole family. But even more so than that, I think my family and friends know, sometimes she's not only the wind beneath the wings, she's the wing, the engines, the fuselage, the cockpit, and everything. None of us in our family could get along without her great love and support for all of us. By the way, I don't think everybody saw that one picture that you had of me at with the family at Disney World with Goofy. You couldn't quite see it, if you will, but I'm going to hear it from the family for showing that to you, and for you bringing it up as part of the things to show. Again, I'm very humbled by this particular moment. You know, while it's not quite a deja vu moment, I cannot help thinking about a similar moment when I stood at this very same spot receiving the Norman L. Baker Astronautics Engineer Award, like Soren Madsen tonight. That was at the Goddard Memorial Dinner in 1990, 35 years ago. So that's a long time. Now, at that dinner, in the spirit of Robert Goddard and being the father, if you will, of launches, I was being recognized for leading the Air Force Space Launch Program, Space Launch Recovery Program, after the tragic Space Shuttle Challenger accident in 1986. And what most of you probably don't know, but I see some few older people out there who will recognize this, around that same time, we also had the subsequent failures of several ELVs, expendable launch vehicles for the United States, a Titan III, a Delta. So for a period of time, the United States had no way, literally no way, to get anything into space. And that period of time was actually 3 years. And I was asked by the Air Force to lead the Space Launch Recovery Program, which led to the development of the next generation of launch vehicles, a Delta II, Atlas II, Titan IV, and a series of upper stages and other things. And I was recognized at the Goddard dinner in 1990 for leading that particular effort. So it was an honor. And by the way, the other honor that particular night was the night that the Air Force announced that I got my first star and was promoted. So it was a good night. So my award in 1990, and of course tonight's very distinguished and prestigious award, reminds me of Robert Goddard's cherry tree moment. Now, some of you may remember that. I've talked to several people who were here 2 years ago at the Space Prom when another scholar gave an excellent, very touching, very memorable speech talking about Robert Goddard's cherry tree moment. Now, what is that? Some of you know what it is. Robert Goddard in 1899 climbed, he was 17 years old at the time, climbed a cherry tree behind the barn of his house, sat on the roof and pondered looking at the skies and wondered maybe, and what would it be like to have some way in a vehicle to get to Mars, to travel to Mars and travel into space. When he came down from that tree, he said in his diary that he was not the same person. When he came down, he realized what his life's ambition should be. He realized what he wanted to do and what his purpose in life was all about. 27 years after that exactly was the moment that Soren talked about in October of 1926 when he launched the first liquid fuel rocket. And we've been launching rockets ever since then. Now, I'm pretty sure that he never thought that you could catch a rocket after it had been launched, but he was an inventive guy. He may have thought of that too, I don't know. But so I'm pretty sure that everybody here has had their cherry tree moments in some form or another that form your love, your respect, your admiration, and your desire to succeed and be involved in space, in science and engineering and aerospace, et cetera. I certainly had mine throughout my career, and even before that, obviously. I'm a native of Washington, D.C., born and raised in here in D.C. So I shouldn't say this. I really appreciate seeing the Commanders cheerleaders here. I'll say this. I'm really going to get in trouble for this. I told Robbie and the other winners while we were getting a picture with the Commanders cheerleaders that I have a picture from my time as a Vice Chief of Staff, a 4-star in the Pentagon, when I had a visit from the Washington Redskinettes to my office. And it was, their uniforms were skimpier than the ones that I had. I get in trouble all the time, so I know I'm going to hear about this from my wife and daughters. But
Next year.
next year. Okay, next year. I know everybody here has had their cherry tree moments. Like I said, mine began literally growing up here in Washington, D.C., going to an academic high school where I met my wife, Mina. We've been married for 59 years. she doesn't look it at all, and I hope I don't look it, but anyway. We went to high school together, and I formed my love for engineering and science, et cetera, while I was in high school. I turned down an appointment to the Air Force Academy and stayed locally and went to Howard University as an engineering student, but also part of Air Force ROTC. And while I was at Howard, I had a very, very stimulating nuclear engineering professor at Howard in the School of Engineering. That professor really, really stimulated me, both in my interest in science and math and engineering, but also recognizing the importance of being excellent in engineering if you're going to be an engineer. He really was a stickler for excellence in every way. And that really stimulated me to be the best engineer that I could possibly be in whatever opportunity I had. Lo and behold, the Air Force sent me to grad school as my first assignment after I graduated from Howard, and I had a chance to apply his teaching to space. My master's degree thesis was a feasibility study of nuclear propulsion rockets for flying into space. Now, that was a thrill to do, but I have to admit, both in a recent review last year from USRA, University Space Research Association, and our nuclear programs we do for NASA, both in a major study of what's going on in nuclear propulsion for space today, looking back at my master's degree thesis, and then actually I'm a member of the National Academy of Engineers, reviewing for the Academy a major study on nuclear propulsion systems. Not a lot has changed since my thesis back in master's degree time. So we still have a long ways to go. Dr. Goddard would be very happy to see that still there are things to be accomplished. So I had my cherry tree moments that stimulated my interests. I know all of you in some form or another have had similar sort of things. And I wanted to close by applauding the National Space Club and Foundation for everything that you do to honor Robert Goddard, to honor his name, to honor his cherry tree moments, to make sure they last, not just for those of us in the room, but everybody that we touch and we're involved in, and certainly for supporting both today's and tomorrow's space pioneers. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
I think I speak for 2,000 people when I say it was an extraordinary honor to have you here, sir. And to your family, you know, the first time I met General Lyles, he showed me all your pictures, all of them. So he's the real deal. He's the real deal. Thank you. Thank you, sir.